Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're looking at a hotly anticipated release from Bachmann. And just to give you an idea, there has been some delays. I've had two separate massive computer issues, so kind of working as a stopgap here to get some reviews done in between waiting on my laptop to arrive, and have found a way to do a couple of minor edits and videos, so this video may not be the best edited video. But today we're looking at the Bachmann Charger. This is an SC-44 locomotive. Here's the item number, by the way, if you're wanting to know more about it. Amtrak is replacing their aging P-42 fleet with these bad boys to take passengers all over the country. So we're going to take a look at what you get as Bachmann released these, pretty much on par with when Amtrak is starting to really roll them out. So very impressive with the timing of the release. So let's see what is in the box now. Alright, Bachmann has DCC sound on board, and I believe this is wow sound, as the label says. So it's a TCS product. Different shell. Trying to figure this out here. Looks like I need to go like this, and the sides just kind of flap down to release the locomotive like that. So hopefully you cut all that. Outside of the shell, you've got some paperwork. Bachmann does what's called a quick start guide. So you have that, and it goes over the sounds. And because this is unfamiliar territory to me, and I've only used TCS decoders a few times, I'll be using this for the review. Exploded parts diagram in case you have any parts you need to order, and a 1-year limited warranty card. And then a little flyer where you can request, little card where you can request the Bachmann catalog. They do that every year. I look forward to it. It's about a 300-page document. So let's go ahead and get this onto the turntable. Like I said, there's going to be less cuts in the video because I don't have any video editing software, and I have a laptop that's really not equipped to do video editing. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can. But here is the Charger in all its glory. I actually have two of these, and there's one from the same Amtrak Midwest, because they run in tandem sometimes, so I wanted two. But you'll see a lot of cool features here. I'm just going to zoom in and get a good angle started. So starting with the front, you'll see they've got beacon lights, and then the third, I think, emergency light there. Windshield wipers on the front. There's side view mirrors, curved glass, locomotive cab. On the front, there are ditch lights. There's a pair of headlights. You've got several MU receptacles down here, and a Bachmann Easy Make coupler. So hopefully you're able to see all that. Amtrak Midwest logo on the front as well. And then now you've got accessory hoses and a magnetic glide hand for the spring-loaded coupler as well. And the air hose looped up right there. So that's the front. I know you guys are probably used to better lighting and everything, but I also am having some lighting difficulties, so it's just all hitting me at once. Cab entry door here with two latches, stair access. Then you start to see the graphics as we work our way back towards the middle, where you see the Amtrak Midwest logo. Some grating here where just the radiator fans reside, I believe, up top, and then I'm not sure what resides in this big area in the middle. So I don't know if that's the new dynamic brake fan area. Not been able to thoroughly research that. But you can see even the truck detail You know, there's a receptacle here, there's warning labels, and even the nice robust truck detail back here. And I'll try to zoom in on that as well. Good news is we did not lose our high definition camera in this apocalypse of electronics going wrong. So in the back, more letters, little box here. You see charger down there and a couple of logos. Those all seem pretty clear and legible. I just don't have the eagle vision to really see what they say. You probably will be able to see it on this video a little better. Don't forget you can blow it up to 1080p and full screen to really get a good view of what's going on. Alright, the back end, probably the least going on the whole locomotive, but there are separately applied grabs. There is a crew access door. You know, I'm guessing access between the cab and the baggage car on a typical Amtrak consist, or the locomotive and the baggage car, I should say. More crew access ladders back there and hoses. And as we swing our way around, more of the same in terms of detail on this side. You can see the road numbers right there at the top of the nose. And really, we need to look at the roof because it does have some nice detail as well. And I want to be able to show you that. Alright, we have a more aggressive angle on there. You can see on the roof, there's a pair of antennas. There's a cab air conditioner with the fan. You can see right here. Talked about the beacons already. There is a 5-chime horn here. And it's sitting in this little channel, if you will. I'm sure there's some research done on that it either, you know, prevents damage to the horn when it's set in the channel like that, or it helps with the sound, or both. In the middle, you've got an array of different metal panels. You can see even the little latch detail on those metal panels for access to different components of the locomotive, I'm sure. And you got the radiator fans, a pair of radiator fans back here, 2 more antennas, and another set of grills here and here. Now again, I wish I would be able to tell you more in terms of what all that does, but a lot of the times the locomotive engineers don't even know what that does. So gonna go ahead and spin this around so you can get one more look at the front, since I know the lighting wasn't the greatest. And then we're going to go into testing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and apply track power and see if that does anything, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so go over some sounds, and wow sound's always a little interesting because it has like 2 different or 3 different ways to access functions. So the F0 key is the headlight. You can see that there. You obviously probably can see this lit area here. That's actually accurate. It's not just tricking out a model train by a model train company. That's accurate. That is seen on the chargers. So bell. And when you hit the bell, the ditch lights do blink. And I believe that's accurate. Horn. Oh, that sounds really good, and the ditch lights blink. Now you can either play 2 to get a short horn burst or F3. F4 is whoosh, that's how it's described in the manual there. It's like a Doppler effect, really. 5, train brake, which I'm sure has to be activated when you're moving. 6 is prime mover. So you can shut it down or start it. I hit it a couple times in a row, so I think it jumped straight to start. 7 is your Rule 17 lighting, or dims the headlight. And 8 is to rotate in light mode, or sound mode if pressed twice in a row. If you press it once, it just mutes. So once mutes it,
night mode active,
and twice is night mode. When you do night mode, I'm gonna turn off our lighting here. I want you to see the full strobe effects. It says that number boards can be activated by F4, so you have number board lighting there. This all looks really good, by the way. You know, slight blue tint to the headlights. I'd have to see if that's realistic. Other than that, I mean, it looks, and the ditch lights, but other than that, it looks amazing. And that, as you can see reflected on the other box of my other locomotive, that grating is coming out of both sides. So we're going to hit F6, which says it's marker lights in light mode, night mode. That is on the rear. I'll show you that separately. And then we hit, you can go to different pages of the functions and do manual notching up and down, grade crossing quill, reverse quill, forward quill, all these different things. So now you press function 8 to rapidly to switch from page 1 sound mode to page 1 light mode. Every double press of function button 8 after that will rotate to the next function mapping page. So
function page 2,
let's see how this works.
function page 3,
We're going to do a forward quill. We're going to do a reverse quill. We're going to do a stop quill. And then we're going to do, I want to do a grade crossing quill. This is 0, or F10 it says. It is just 0. So you got to look at TCS decoders and sound as sort of a tree of different functions, and it starts on page 1, and you hit 8 twice in a row to get to page 2, and 8 twice in a row to get page 3, and then your same 8 functions are being used in so many different ways, and that really helps people who have a limited function DCC controller, or you know, don't want to be hitting 20 different functions with shift keys or whatever. Now, I don't know if we're going to show you the red marker lights in the rear, but they do exist just because of the limited amount of takes I can have. Trying not to crash my simplistic computer that I'm able to use in the meantime.
function page 1,
So we're going to go back to function page 1, really just for regular sounds, but I want to do a slow speed test, and I do it with a speedometer now. watching the locomotive, you can probably see it too in your upper right hand screen or left hand screen. And I'm not seeing too much lurching or anything like that at one speed step. I am seeing a little bit. So the reason why we're going through this tedious one speed step process is we need to wait until the locomotive bridges the second set of sensors on this speedometer to give you the slow speed in miles per hour for HO scale. And it's airing out, it's going so slow. So we'll try to do that one more time off camera. But that is one speed step, and it's just crawling. I mean, it is lurching, but it hasn't been broken in, and we tend to see that in these reviews where there is lurch at slow speed steps. So I'm at 3 now. Was it 2 for a brief second? 4, 5. Everything seems to be pretty much smoothed out by 5. We'll go to 6 and 7. You hear the kind of air brake hiss and release as you stop and go in reverse. There's one speed step in reverse. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see the operation of this thing forward and back. I'm going to go ahead and try this one more time, but not put you through the tedious process. We'll go to about 2 or 3 speed steps. I mean, I have to give it to him. It's the slowest speed control I've seen in a while. Again, it may need some braking in to smooth out, or it may not smooth out. But I'm at like 3 speed steps right now, and it's just now bridging the gap, and it's showing 1.1. So that's what most locomotives, that's 1.1 scale miles an hour. That's what most locomotives are doing at one speed step. This locomotive's doing it 3. So it shows the slow speed control that's really built in there. So that's always interesting. Again, in the spirit of not many cuts here, I'm going to do a pull test, and you're going to have to trust me on this. So we're not going to reset the camera angle. It's showing about 3 ounces. I do have a little hump in my layout here, so we'll move forward. It's not fair for this locomotive trying to do an uphill climb with pull test. So now we're showing 3.7 ounces. You get to hear the prime mover pull up a little bit, since we skipped the manual notching part. Now, for those of you who don't know, it's about 55 or 60 HO scale freight cars. And these locomotives, if you're going to be using them realistically, would be pulling about a dozen or so. You know, I'd say no more than a dozen, maybe 14. Superliner cars that you see from Amtrak, from Walthers and Cato and stuff like that. So, or the coaches, the Horizon coaches, or there's another coach, I forget the name of it, the Amfleets. You know, so that's going to be no problem for one of these locomotives to be able to pull a passenger consist, is what I'm getting at after blabbering on and blabbering on. So, again, we're going to continue uncut and it has a capacitor because I've just cut power and it's still going. So also I need to cut both. I guess I need to cut both powers. I didn't realize that. Thought usually it's just one, so maybe it's got a little bit of built in there, but not much. So we're gonna check coupler height again. We can try to reset this, but I think you're gonna have to take my word for it. Coupler height is dead on that end, and I need to really get down to where this hump in the track is not affecting. Appears dead on the front as well, so I'll just swing the camera around. You aren't going to be able to see much from that angle, but you know, we could go old school to where years ago I used to just hold the camera, but no, it doesn't want to focus. So as you see, it's pretty much dead on there. And back here, this is the hump, so let me get past the hump. Dead on. Now the Easy Mates are a little oversized compared to KD's, but it's dead on either way. Now, while we're at that, let's take a look at NMRA compliance. Pretty simple, and you get a under view of the locomotive. You see, I've got it upside down, but you see the DCC and sound logo there, a WOW sound logo. That's pretty cool. There's even some conduit running, or some, I believe that might be sanding lines running back here and up front. So here's the wheels. Another little thing I never talk about on KD is there's this other little gap right above the gap for the wheel flanges that's supposed to give you the clearance of the locomotive, and that is also in line. So it's another little check we can do while we're live. But all the wheels show engaged there, as in IN gauge, not N gauge. This is an HO scale locomotive. So anyway, that is all of the testing that I typically do. We usually do a weight, so we can do that real quick and show you what's going on with the weight. So the editing being down, I don't have as clear or as nice looking as a layout as I usually do, but the weight is 17.4 ounces. Sorry, a little out of picture there. Oh, I just zeroed it out. Whoops. But yeah, 17.4 ounces. So that is a good amount of weight. That's 492 grams. It's over a pound and 1.4 ounces. So that tells you that that helps with the traction and pulling power, and you'll be able to do it pretty well. But that's what it weighs. And the only other thing I can think of really for tests is to show you the length of the locomotive, which we can do back here. And we're looking at a grid here where each square is a half an inch. So just the car body is going to be 9.5 inches long. Okay. Sorry, it's a little early in the morning. I was doing my math. And then if you do coupler to coupler, 10.5 inches long. So very interesting locomotive. I love the sound. Love the operation. It could be a little smoother, slow speed steps, but in their defense, they have the slowest speed steps I think I've ever seen. And then it really smooths out by 4 or 5, which is typically where most locomotives are starting at 1 scale mile an hour. So that's it for this locomotive. Overall, you know, I'd have to say I'm very impressed. Bachmann really stepped their game up on this. They represented the Amtrak modelers really well did a good job for them by giving them a highly accurate very detailed, affordable, and great sounding and operating locomotive here in this Charger. So with that said, no run-bys because we are still in the process of a move. We're pretty much getting down the last 4 months of our home search where we have to maybe start getting less picky, and just pick something. So hopefully by summer you will see a layout sprung up and you'll be able to get back to run-bys. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.